And we now have on the phone Mr. Schreibeis. Mr. Schreibeis, how are you?
Good. How are you
Good.
doing?
Oh, I feel well. Teaching's much worse than this, and I am fumbling the ball left and right today and the day before. There's lots of dials and this and that, but it's not as hard as teaching. That my first year. Woof, that was so good to hear your voice again.
It's good to hear yours as well. And remember, how we learn is by failing. You have to actually mess up before you learn something. That
I
just
should
getting
learn a lot. I
information.
know.
Yeah, just getting information. You just get information, but in order to actually learn something, you actually have to mess up first, and that's what people forget, I think, at times. So it just means you're in good company. You're just learning. That's not a bad thing.
I appreciate Mr. Always the mentor over there. What's happening over at the schools? I miss it.
Yeah, so we miss you. It's always active in the schools. I mean, one of the big things that's happened over the last week that I thought would be really good to talk about was people might have saw in the paper that there were some threats last week to some surrounding schools. It was kind of mentioned that this kind of happened across the state, and so I thought it would be good to talk about use this opportunity to talk about different things. Gwinnett Public Schools did not get any threats, which is why you didn't hear anything from us. We typically, will notify people if something happens, if we're going to do something, or we will talk about it after the fact. A lot of times in those situations, it happens so quickly. So, I did get notified by multiple entities the night before that there was threats being sent around Montana, and so we checked all of our emails and everything that we needed to do to see if there was anything, and there was nothing on our end. And so it was just kind of helping other school districts out and what that needed to be. So it was a late night and early morning, and trying to make sure that that was there. But this is becoming kind of a trend, unfortunately. If everyone remembers, last year there was across Montana, and actually it wasn't just Montana; it was multiple states. They were going from state to state, and it was called swatting. And basically, what someone would do is they would call an active shooter threat um, to the law enforcement, and then law enforcement would show up at the schools, and no one would even know anything. And so then they would go into lockdown. And it was kind of a crazy thing. And so since then, we've gotten a what's called E3. It's called Emergent 3, which basically allows for us to get information out to our staff very quickly. I know Miles City had a swatting attempt last year where someone called in, and basically the law enforcement came in tactical gear and stuff, and that was the first that the schools heard about it, and so everyone was kind of freaking out and stuff. And so we now have some other emergency protocols to kind of prevent this type of stuff or get information out quicker. And so that's something we've been working on since then. But this year it was threats of explosives. There was out of all the schools that got a threat, there wasn't anything found. But with those things, schools have to take that seriously. There's not something that we just say, oh, well, pretty sure this is, a false alarm. We have to take it as serious as we can. And so you saw schools that, had law enforcement come in and different entities and go and they searched the schools, and, some opened, some canceled, just depended on the situation. Every situation is different. And so that's been happening. It's an unfortunate thing that is happening right now. One that we take very seriously. We say this all the time. Safety is our number one priority, and so we will take things like that seriously. We did not, again, Glenda Public Schools did not get any threat. We still kind of took some precautions, but so we will always do that. And I mean, we have the situation happen even with winter conditions outside. As to it's not the same type of threat, but it's a threat to threaten safety. Possibly on the roads, or sometimes it gets really cold, and so we have to make decisions based off of what we feel like is best. And in these situations, not everyone agrees with the decision that's made, and that is, I mean, there's no way the schools can make a decision that everyone's going to be happy with. And so we do the best to keep the most people safe, and what that looks like. But we also believe that parents have a right to do that as well. So even when they don't feel like the school is making the right decision, they're always able to keep their kids home, call in, because ultimately you're going to have some parents who want their kids to be at school and some parents want them to be at home. And so we try to provide that safe environment for all of our students as best we can, because some students really need the meals, they need the different things that we provide for them. And so we try to do the best that we can to have school when we need to. If something does come up, there's options of a late start, early release, or possibly canceling school altogether. But we try to use those very sparingly, because we know that it's a huge inconvenience for people with work and different things. And so we try to keep the balance between that, but ultimately trying to keep things safe as best as we can. So I mean, that was something I really thought would be a good thing to talk about, since that just is on people's minds from last week. Um,
CBS News special report. The New Hampshire primary. All right, we're taking care of that there. So you're more, yeah. This is more important. Yeah, I remember like it's a sad reality, but I appreciated all the training you provided me as when I did my 3 years. That growing up, it was just that wasn't even in school. Also, zero thoughts about that. But you, you, I mean, it was. I definitely felt very trained on what to do.
Yeah, and it's an unfortunate reality that we have to be prepared. I mean, our educators go like you did. You came to educate kids, and then you realize that you're there for a lot more than that. And one of those things
Yeah.
is also keep kids safe, and that's something that not people didn't go into education to do, but it's a sad reality. And so we do have to do a lot of training. We have Alice that helps with active shooter situations. We have our fire drills like normal, but there's been a lot more things that we have to train our staff on to make sure that we're prepared for different things that come that we didn't have to used to worry about. And it's a sad reality, but one that is really important and one that we take really seriously. And I don't think in any situation that's ever happened, I think every single school district that has ever been through something always felt like they wish they would have been more prepared. I don't think you can be over prepared for anything. And so you do your best to try to get that as best as you can, and then you hope that you don't have to ever use that training. And so yeah, it's a sad reality though, unfortunately.
Well, we appreciate everything you do for us. I understand from when I was in these other responsibilities there, and everything that does, and just keep hoping for the best.
Absolutely. And like anything with our emergency procedures, if make sure you call your kid's school, make sure you have the right numbers there, so when we do send out something, you get notified.
We appreciate everything you do for us.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everyone.